Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Totalbiscuit. I'm here to ask and answer one simple question. WTF is OnLive. This is something that I've been talking about for quite some time, and I was also able to do a pretty early preview of at the Eurogamer Expo. Showed you off at various things that are right there, and gave you some information while I was interviewing one of the OnLive staff. Now, this service is currently available in the US and in the UK right now. And it is a cloud gaming service. What does that mean? Basically means that the games are streamed from a server farm as opposed to being run on your machine. You might think, well, why the hell is that beneficial? Well, it's effectively platform neutral. It means that you can play PC games at the same quality regardless of what machine you're on, as long as you've got a decent internet connection to allow you to do so. You can also play PC games on tablet devices and phones. Now, the iOS version of this is not out yet, annoyingly enough. I might have another look at that, maybe use my capture device to show you some iPad footage once I've made that available. It's currently available on Android. But aside from that, you can run it on a Mac, you can run it on a PC, a netbook will actually support this, and essentially you can play your normal everyday PC games without the processor really coming into play. This is potentially beneficial for people that have poor quality machines. If they've got an older computer, but they've got a decent internet connection, they can play the latest games, no problem. Also beneficial, of course, if you want to do cross-platform gaming. It's actually something to consider, really, the fact that you could purchase a game on OnLive and it would be available on all of your devices. That's actually kind of cool and something that even Steam doesn't fully offer. You can do it with some games with the Mac, but you certainly can't play a Steam game on your phone, for instance. However, the concern really is how good a service it is, how much lag comes into play, and what kind of quality decline you're going to get as a result of using cloud gaming, streaming video over the internet, as opposed to playing it on your machine. So, I've got a few games available here, and since the service allows you to trial any game for 30 minutes, we can pretty much try out any of the games and show you how each of them works. So what you get in terms of the service is, once you've signed up for your free account, you get this. In the middle there, you've got options screen, which will allow you to go for quick launch and look through settings and things like that. You'll do an initial setup where it'll detect your internet connection speed and so on and so forth. There's also a beta voice chat. It does actually support surround sound, but I haven't got that enabled because I don't use surround sound with my PC. I simply use stereo. And honestly, the last thing I want to do is stream down yet more information and potentially make it even laggier. You've also got a variety of different kind of social integration tools, like, say, the Arena right there. Brag clips is kind of neat. You can upload clips, and you can also look at other people's clips. So, for instance, if you wanted to look at a brag video from Homefront, I can't imagine why I would want to do that, then we'd click it, and it actually starts playing pretty much instantaneously. That's not really what I call much of a brag clip, honestly. Yeah, okay. What are you bragging about? How terrible the game is? I have to make that assumption. But yeah, it is kind of neat. I mean, this takes quite a lot of skill. Holy crap, the fact that someone actually did that. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. There you go. So that was actually in Duke Nukem Forever there. This all is available instantly, which I do quite like. You don't even have to wait for it to buffer or anything. It just goes straight in, which is fairly impressive. If you wanted to watch something from Just Cause, for instance, that's always good for a laugh. Yep, that's standard Just Cause 2 for you. I love Just Cause, what can I say? And you can actually share those over Facebook, and you can look at the player's profiles. If I want to know about this guy, it's like, what does he do? Apparently, that's his profile. He has quite a lot of friends. He's got quite a lot of games. He's got 44 brag clips. This guy's a major player in the OnLive industry, it would seem. But yeah, that is kind of a neat feature, honestly. It's pretty cool indeed, and you can just do it on any game that's on the service because the client has that ability built into it. Don't need fraps or anything like that. Pretty cool to be able to share that kind of stuff. Friends list, of course. I have no friends. This is just an account that I use for reviewing and things like that, so I don't add any friends, and I have no intention of adding any friends. The Arena right here. Now, what does the Arena allow you to do? Well, what we can do here is we can have a look at a variety of different spectator setups. I really don't want to do either of these things. Spectator is currently paused. I can go out of that. Let's find something that's currently going on. Let's have a look at this. So I can go to the Arena, and live I'm watching someone else play a game instantly. Now, I've got to say that is an extremely impressive piece of tech. It really is. That is something completely new. That's something that nothing else can really do right now. Just being able to drop in and look at it, and it doesn't affect the performance of the game either. It doesn't slow it down in terms of the person playing. I can go watch, and it doesn't really matter. Go and have a look at this one, for instance. What's he playing? Ah, Lord of the Rings War in the North. This is kind of neat, and in fact, I actually like this feature an awful lot, not just because it's quite innovative and new, it's because it allows you to watch a game and get a feel as to whether or not you'll actually enjoy doing it without having to go to YouTube and looking for a Let's Play or whatever that may or may not be in good quality. You can just pop this up instantly and say, right, you know what, I want to check out Lord of the Rings War in the North. And it's like, suddenly I get an idea of what this game is all about. I'm simply watching here. You can also cheer or jeer. I'm going to give him a cheer, make him feel much better about himself. There you go. Have a cheer. I can look at the player profile. I can add this person as a friend if I so desire, and then I can even go and play the same game. That is a serious piece of innovation right there. It really, really is, and that's quite impressive to watch. Saints Row the Third going on there. That's always good for a laugh here. You can have a cheer. I'm just giving them out today, folks. Giving them out. I'm a very generous person with my cheers and jeers. Now, it also allows you to have a look at video quality. The video quality is a little bit hit and miss. This is going out at 720p. Currently, this is streaming in 30 frames per second, as far as I can tell. But from what I've seen for most of the games, they play at 60. So unless you have a slow internet connection, so it'll configure for 30, and that didn't go very well for you, mate, did it? Oh, my. Anyway, if you have a slow internet connection, I assume it'll slow it down to 30. But yeah, this is actually... The games, anyway, run at 60, but some of the video streams run at 30. That is not really a big problem if you're just watching the video. Obviously, the game running at 30 can affect things. I really want to know what this guy's about to do. I'm sorry, I want to see this. Oh, that's brilliant. Only in Saints Row can that happen. Oh, God, I love Saints Row the Third. All right, okay, let's go out of the arena, because what you want to see is the games. Now, the way that you acquire the games is quite interesting. You go to the marketplace here, and you're going to see featured deals, new releases, play pack, and stuff like that. So if you get play pack, you get the play pack bundle. It's got 138 games in it, yeah? And you buy that for $6.99 a month. Now, this has a lot of really good games in it, but bear in mind there's a lot of older games in this as well. You also get... If you actually subscribe and you buy a game, you get 30% off all of the games purchased. That's quite significant. So the deal is pretty solid. Some of these are awful. Like, for instance, Crazy Cat's Love, Eldorado, Nicopolis Secrets of the Immortals. But there are some good games as well. There's also some indie stuff like Rush, Ghostmaster's really good, Abe's Odyssey, Tokitori, The Witcher. Go all the way through there and you can see what's actually available. So the play pack is not too shabby. Flotilla's in there. That's a good indie game. In fact, the amount of indie games that are available on OnLive is quite impressive, and I do very much like that. But you're not going to get the full experience if you just go for the play pack, needless to say. There are some really good games, like, say, Stalker there, as you can see. Fate of the Pharaoh, I've never actually heard of before. Darkstar 1, that's not bad. Saints Row 2, ugh. That port is not very good. But the majority of the premium games you're not going to get in that pack. There are 138 games available, though, and it might even be worth it. If you buy multiple games a month from this service, then I think the Play Pack bundle is actually going to save you some money because of the 30% discount there. All right, let's go back out of here. Now, how do you buy games otherwise? That's the question. Well, if we go to specials, you can see that currently you can do. There's a pre-order special on Pro Evolution Soccer. And I don't know what the pre-order special is because it's charging £30 for that, which is the standard price. I'm not sure how that's special at all. Not really impressed by that. I'll look at featured right there, see what's available. In fact, I'm not even sure if they've got any sales on whatsoever here. You might notice the price like, oh wow, that's really cheap for Arkham City. Well, that's not really how it is because this actually offers rental as well. So you can buy the full game for £35, which is... That's pretty much recommended retail price. It's not particularly cheap. And then you get the Play Pass for £4 here or £6 for 3 or 5 days. Now, if you can beat this game in 3 days, you've just rented a PC game. That's very, very difficult to do normally. Green Man Gaming allows something of a system like that because you can trade back in, but this is much cheaper. If there's a game you know is quite short, you can rent it for 3 days, beat it, and that's it. That's fantastic. Now, what is more fantastic is the fact that you can free trial any game on this service for 30 days. That is major. That is significant. That's significant for people who don't even want to use this. You want to know why that's significant? It's significant because it lets you demo any game for 30 minutes. No other service on PC allows you to do that. None. None at all. So that's a huge deal. I would say it's significant because anyone can just install this client, and if they're looking to maybe buy a game on Steam and it doesn't have a proper demo, they can go demo it on OnLive for 30 minutes and then go buy it on Steam. Now, needless to say, this is not what OnLive wants you to do. There's no real doubt about that. OnLive would prefer you bought it here. And as I said, there are a number of advantages to doing that, especially the fact that it's platform neutral. The platform neutrality, I think, is the biggest deal for this, because you can use it on all your devices, no problem whatsoever. There's also other things like there's no install time, the loading times are fairly minimal, and if you have a bad PC, then of course you can run games that you couldn't otherwise run on your system. There's quite a selection, honestly. Orcs Must Die is on there. That's always a good thing. We very much like that. Orcs Must Die might be a good thing to show off, but I'm going to show off a couple of games because the most important thing to criticize, I suppose, about this service is how it performs. So, we're going to pick a game that is definitely affected by control lag. Input lag is the most vital thing when it comes to Street Fighter. So, let's give Street Fighter a shot. Now, before I start here, by the way, I'm going to suck in this game because I'm using a 360 pad. My fight pad, I haven't got any batteries for it, so my 360 pad is plugged in right now. That's bad. Very bad. So please do not expect mad skills. You're not going to get it. 360 pads are awful for this game. You also notice as it's loading, it actually shows the demo right there. There's some artifacting going on, visible artifacting going on the screen. And the games, needless to say, also have artifacting in because you are streaming video, one way or the other. You are streaming compressed video. Alright, so we're going to skip through this, no problem whatsoever, and you will see the game screen in the way that you would expect Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition to actually pop up. Super Street Fighter 4! Now, this game is also not going to run very well because I'm currently frapsing, and frapsing is slowing this down to 30 FPS, but I was playing it earlier at 60 FPS, so it does run at full 60 FPS. You're not going to be playing Street Fighter at 30, which was, ugh, that's an awful, awful thing. Alright, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put my 360 pad directly under the microphone so that hopefully you can hear the button presses. Now, this should give you an indicator of what the lag time between a button press, and I'll deliberately hit the buttons pretty hard so you can hear it. We should give you an indicator of the lag time between the button press and the actual action on the screen. Alright. Let's go through here. Needless to say, online multiplayer is not available for Super Street Fighter 4. That would be fairly bad, because you're compounding input lag with online lag. What a terrible idea that would be. Alright, go down. Alright, let's go through here, and yes, we're not interested in the intro movie. Let's skip through this. Who do I get first? Jury, an annoying character. Never mind. Please also bear in mind that the artifacting you're seeing on the screen will be amplified by the fact that you're also watching it on YouTube. So it does look slightly better on your computer than it does in this YouTube video. This YouTube video is artifact too. Alright, here we go. Ugh. God, I hate 30 FPS. It's the worst thing. Alright, okay, so let's see if I can actually do any damage whatsoever. I'm seriously not going to get my ass kicked by Jury. That would be terrible. There we go. Okay. I could still at least do a few moves on this 360 pad. Ugh. 360 pad is like one of the worst things for Shoto characters. Alright. Okay, so I said I'd put it under the mic, so let me just pause it here. Right. My 360 pad is now directly under the microphone, and I'm going to hit those buttons as hard as I can. Alright, let's block that. Okay. Right. You should be able to hear that right there. I'll try it again. So, will you stop that? I probably should have put this in practice mode. So that's the delay there. The delay is noticeable for me because I played a lot of Street Fighter Online with the original version. So I definitely noticed the delay. The delay, as far as I'm concerned, is about I'd say it's about the kind of delay that you get in a medium latency latency game online. Yeah? It's definitely noticeable that it's not playing locally. And this is the game that I think will actually show the most, because responsiveness is one of the most important things in terms of playing Street Fighter. God, I can't even remember the keys I need to go for a super. I don't know if I can even do it. No, I can't do it with an analog stick. I just can't. I need a proper control pad. It's just not going to happen. There we go. But, I mean, I can still play it. It's not particularly easy, but I can still play it. I think that a casual player wouldn't have too much of a problem with it because, you know, they're not used to playing the game anyway, so precision input doesn't really matter so much. But anyone that's even remotely interested in hardcore fighting games, no. No, 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 no. It's playable, but only just. To the point where it bothers me a lot. Alright, so let's try and quit out of this, shall we? If I was using the OnLive controller, which is something which comes with the micro console, I'd be able to jump out of this straight away, but since I'm not, there's probably a key for it, but I don't know what the key actually is, so we're just gonna go back and out of the game. When you quit the game, it goes directly back to the OnLive menu. So you can have a look at some other stuff. Alright, let's have a look at a couple more games, because of course we want to test this across a variety of different games. Some games respond better than others. Alright. Let's have a look, shall we? Now, I do have Borderlands there. I don't know if I have a saved file. I might have a saved file where I can actually shoot something. Let's find out. If not, then it's going to be the stupid intro with Claptrap again, which has actually made me want to destroy every Claptrap in that game. The fact that you can't upsets me. Alright, straight in. The loading time on this game is very quick. As you can see, it's straight into the game, no problem at all. It's actually faster than it is on my PC. Alright, okay, cool. That's a 6-minute playthrough into Lilith. So let's load in and hope that it actually lets me shoot something. I'm going to be using mouse and keyboard for this, needless to say, because playing an FPS with a controller is dumb if you can't avoid doing so. There we go. Oh, it started me at the start. Oh. Yeah, Claptrap. See you next time. Go away. Right, so basically this is no use because you get loads of tutorials. You can't even shoot anything, so yeah. It's actually the worst thing about having to demo any of these games because most of them don't let you get instantly into the action. A racing game is probably a good option. So let's go back and have a look and see what we can find there. We'll just use one of the 30-minute trials for pretty much any of the racing games. In the marketplace, you can search based on genre. So let's have a look and see what we've got. There's even a genre of keyboard and mouse. So these games are designed for keyboard and mouse, apparently. As you can see right there. Not really convinced that that's true. I assume that these ones are actually just ones that support keyboard and mouse, and then there's one for gamepad, and then there's one that's for touch. This stuff is designed and actually works properly with touch. So you could play Darksiders on your Android tablet, for instance, which is a fairly big deal. I'm trying to think what actually would go directly into the action. That sort of thing. Well, let's go to racing and see what's available. Dirt 2, Dirt 3, Drive for San Francisco doesn't let you go directly into the action. Flat Out 2. Flat Out 2 is probably a good option here. For some inexplicable reason, some of the stuff that I saw here earlier isn't actually here, but we'll go for Flat Out 2. That's probably a good option. I'm just going to go straight into the free trial. There we go. Loads you directly in. It's going to start the game up, and we can have a look at that. I'll use the 360 pad for this as well. As you can see, it currently does not support multiplayer. A lot of these games don't. Some do, but most of them don't. It really does vary and depend on the game in question. Now, if I recall correctly, this one should work straight away with a pad. I shouldn't have to configure anything. So let's have a look and see how this one goes. I really don't want to create a new profile, but I guess I don't have a choice at this point. Please don't sue me for all of these licensed tracks that are going to be going on in the background. Ugh, they're bad anyway. Nobody wants to hear that crap. Right. Come on. There we go. Single player. Straight through there. Career. Single race would be fine. Thank you very much. Let's race in the field. Yeah, whatever. Straight through all of these. I will drive whatever that is. I don't really care. Okay. Right. And off we go. Bear in mind that this game isn't a very good-looking game to begin with. We're just doing this one to demonstrate controller latency more so than anything else. Now, this is not a precision racing game, certainly, so this kind of game you can usually get away with on OnLive more than any kind of precision racer. Dirt is kind of middling in that respect. You try anything that requires precision and you might be in an awful lot of trouble, because you will get controller lag. But this is a very arcadey game, so it doesn't really matter all that much. I am noticing frame drop here. Might be to do with the streaming, could be to do with fraps one way or the other. And the nice thing about OnLive is you're just going to be able to test it out for yourself to see whether or not it actually works out okay for you. Latency is going to vary on a case-by-case basis, depending on who you happen to be, and depending on what your internet connection happens to be. Also stuff like your distance from the data center and things like that. For instance, in America, if you're 1,000 miles away from a data center, you can't play on OnLive. It just doesn't let you. Here in the UK, you can be pretty much anywhere, but some people are going to have not so great internet connections, and they're going to suffer as a direct result of that. This is not really affecting my ability to control a car all that much, honestly. I'm not having too many problems, any more than I usually would be in Flat Out. So this is okay. This is actually playing as well as it did on the show floor at Eurogamer Expo, which I'm quite surprised about, because I assumed that they'd optimized everything and made it run a bit better, but no, it actually runs fine. It's not bad at all. The performance is pretty damn solid. Alright, okay, let's get out of this, and let's try one more game. First-person shooter or third-person shooter would be pretty good. Needless to say, stuff like strategy games runs without a problem. Yes, I do want to leave the current game. Why won't you let me do that? That's weird. Back to menu. It's just up there. Okay, apparently I need to use the keyboard for that for whatever godforsaken reason. Lord knows why that is. Alright, please don't sue me, please don't sue me. And quit game. So, for some reason, it's just switched back to needing the keyboard. I don't really know why that is. Okay. Let's see what else we've got that we can just try out. It's definitely very nice just to be able to jump into pretty much any game and try it out for 30 minutes. Very unique. I like it a lot. Alright. Let's see what we've got. Let's get rid of that. We don't need that now. Alright, action. That gives you all sorts of options. A lot of these are not especially good. Let's have a look at shooter. We need a shooter that is not going to have a horrendously lengthy intro. That's problematic. Most of these do. Oh look, I can play Deus Ex. I can play Duke Nukem Forever. Now that even that's got a pointlessly long intro, if I recall correctly. So that's probably not an option. In fact, most of these aren't. Unreal Tournament 3. Perfect. I can go straight into a skirmish game on this one. Does this actually have multiplayer? Yes, apparently it does. I'd be interested to see if that works online. Alright, let's go for a free trial on Unreal 3. Should be a good option for looking at graphics as well as shooter response. Fairly important. It is logging into the online service, lagging in, yeah. Alright, let's go full on, shall we? Let's see if someone... Can I select multiplayer? Will it let me do that? Okay. Alright, that's fine. Yep, I'm okay with this. I don't really want to customize my character, actually. Clan tag. Customize character. Yep, I will be this dude. Yeah, that's fine. I don't really care what I look like, honestly. Let's go back there. Okay, quick match. Let's see. I don't even know if anyone's playing this game online at all. Game mode. I don't know, straight up deathmatch, maybe. Let's see if it can find anything. As I say, I don't know if anyone's playing it, but this, I think, is probably going to be the ultimate test of whether or not this system actually holds up. There we go. We're going into an online match using OnLive. So, potentially, there are all sorts of latency problems here that could happen.
Red flag taken.
I guess we're about to find out.
You are on red.
Enemy Darkwalker, midfield.
All right. Okay. So I've got a missile launcher, that's helpful. Alright, so in a game like this, the blurring does become fairly obvious, honestly. Oh, apparently we're playing Capture the Flag. I thought I wanted to play Deathmatch, but apparently not. Alright. So the artifacting and things like that is quite noticeable in this game. This game is fairly blurry, all things considered. Which is a bit of a problem. We'll find out about the shooter issues momentarily. Controlling the car right here is a little bit difficult because there is quite a bit of delay. Alright, let's get out of the vehicle for a moment, pick up some stuff like that. I would have to adjust my sensitivity here as well, because the default sensitivity is very, very low. Also, who the hell am I supposed to be shooting at? I have a damage amp. Maybe go in this direction. Funnily enough, I've actually never played Unreal Tournament 3 at all, so it should be fairly simplistic, I suppose. Do I have a lock on? I certainly hope so.
I've got the flag.
There we go. Good start. Damage amp is always helpful like that. Ah! Okay.
Area secure.
Oh god! What the hell is that thing? I don't even know what that thing is. Some big stompy thing.
Enemy scavenger.
Definitely not a fan of that.
Enemy nemesis. Midfield low.
Alright, so if I were to try and aim at something here, it's...
Blue flag dropped.
The actual delay is not as bad as I would think. It'll certainly hurt you competitively. Without question, it will hurt you competitively. And this actually is one of the worst looking games that I've seen on live so far. It really does artifact more so than most games. So that is potentially problematic there, and I think that there are plenty of people who will not enjoy that all that much. But it's certainly playable. In terms of single player FPS, you shouldn't really have all that many problems. And on mouse and keyboard, I can still precisely shoot something. There we go, down you go, without too much of a problem. It's just there's going to be a slight delay. But then again, anyone who's looking for hyper-competitive stuff is not going to play on OnLive. I mean, come on, really? For a bit of casual multiplayer, you can play this okay. But as I said, it does make the game look pretty ugly. It's just simply a case of there's a lot of blurring, there's a lot of artifacting in this game, and it's something that you're going to have a lot of fast-moving backgrounds. Think about the way that a stream looks. If you look at, say, a Justin TV stream, if someone moves around quite rapidly, you're going to see quite a lot of blurring as the scene tries to readjust. It's what the... I don't like the look of that thing. I really don't like the look of it. Have I got a lock on that thing? I certainly hope so. I don't know how much damage I could really do with it. Yeah, that's not good. I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons people don't like Unreal Tournament 3, but... Yeah, if you will notice, you will definitely notice in this game that the blurring. I'm surprised the control lag in this game is not more than it is, honestly. It's really the biggest problem is not, in fact, the control lag, but actually just the blurring and horrendous crap that's going on with that. Alright, can easily get out of here.
Red flag taken.
I said easily get out of here. I have no idea. There we go, let's disconnect.
Dropped.
Alright. He looks remarkably like someone we once knew. Yes, indeed. Alright, back. So I can come to a conclusion on this. I'll go back to the OnLive screen right there. Out you go. Exit to OnLive. Thank you very much. Alright, so how would I conclude on this service? The performance is pretty good. It's going to vary from game to game. Some look pretty damn solid. I mean, for instance, Street Fighter runs at 60 FPS and looks good. The control lag is a problem, however. So that's perhaps not a game that I would really recommend playing on OnLive. Unreal Tournament 3 controls really well, and it's got pretty good control lag in general, but it's got graphics problems in that it blurs quite a bit. And once again, that's going to also vary depending on your internet connection. Flat out, that played just fine, and needless to say, it's going to vary on a game-by-game basis. Probably the best games to play on this service are things that don't involve a lot of fast moving. Strategy games in particular will run extremely well here. If you go to strategy, you can see the stuff like Defense Grid, Disciples, Evil Genius, Fallout, Ghostmaster. That's a turn-based game right there, so that would run extremely well. Men of War. So there's a reasonable selection there. Some older, some new. Supreme Commander, things like that. All the Tropico games. That's actually probably the best thing. The fact that Dawn of War 2 Chaos Rising's there, and Tropico 4's there as well. And that's a game that actually costs quite a bit of money, so it's nice to be able to get access to that. But it does vary from game to game. The actual extras that this gives you, like brag clips and the ability to trial any game or rent games and cross-platform play, some of that is incredibly innovative and almost, as far as I'm concerned, ahead of its time. And it works pretty well. The arena mode is great. I mean, being able to drop in and spectate anyone instantly without buffering, that's nigh on, that's on the border of being revolutionary in terms of what it is. The problem is that this service is going to vary on a case-by-case basis as to whether or not, one, it works well for you, and two, whether it's useful to you. If you have nothing but a netbook or a really old PC, you will probably be able to get something out of this service, but it does depend on your internet connection. If you're running on a crappy internet connection, which a lot of people in the UK are, then this is not going to work very well for you. I'm running on a 10 meg down, 2 meg up bonded ADSL2 line. So that's pretty good for my area. I can't get any better than this in my area right now. If you're running on something like fiber, like BT Infinity, this should be easy for you. If you're running on Virgin Cable, it should be easy for you. If you've even got a decent ADSL connection that is more than about 3 or 4 megabits down, you should be okay, as long as you don't get things like packet loss and horrible choking and nonsense like that. So the market they're really aiming for here are those that can't afford good PCs, or that want this cross-platform play between their devices. I don't really know how much I would want to play a PC game on a tablet. The times that I want to do that are places like on the train, which isn't going to work because the Wi-Fi on the train is nowhere near good enough to support this kind of thing. That's assuming you're on a train that has Wi-Fi. On a bus? No, because where the hell are you going to get the Wi-Fi from? You're certainly not going to be able to connect fast enough through your phone. Where else would you do it? In a hotel? Possibly, but that does, once again, vary as to how good the hotel's internet connection is. And trust me, I've been in some hotels that have terrible sodding internet. And that's assuming you don't have a good enough gaming laptop to run this stuff anyway. Who else is it going to appeal to? Well, it will appeal to people that want to try games before they buy. I think at the moment, that's the greatest value here. It's got two things that allow you to get a lot of information about games without paying. One, the 30-minute demo system. Two, the arena, which allows you to watch anyone else playing it. The third thing, of course, is the fact that you can rent games. That, for someone who is very economically minded, is very strong, and the Play Pack bundle, which is £7 a month, isn't too shabby either. Admittedly, if you're in the UK, there is also a competing service which does allow you to download the games to your machine. So if you have a good PC, but you are on a budget, for whatever reason, then the service by the name of Metaboli is better. It's a flat rate service every month that allows you to download games and play them while you subscribe to it, and those are full games. So where does this really fit in? As I said, it's kind of a niche product at the moment. Personally, for me, it's effectively worthless. But that's because I have quite a lot of disposable income and I've got a really good PC. For others, it's definitely got some value to it. And I'm surprised how well they've implemented it. It works pretty well for the most part. It doesn't look particularly good on my big monitor, but that's to be expected. It's running at 720p. I've got a 30-inch monitor. I'm used to running games at 2560 by 1600. It is very obvious when I'm running at 720p. If you look at it on a smaller monitor, or if you're looking at it from a distance, for instance, you're playing it on a television, which you can do if you, say, either kick it out of a PC via your video out, or you use the OnLive micro console, which they do sell. You can pick those up pretty cheap on eBay. You probably aren't going to notice as much. Personally, I noticed, but then again, I was looking for the blurring. And as I said before, the blurring and the artifacting will be amplified by the fact that this is a YouTube video, which has its own blurring and artifacting inherent to it. It's certainly not a disaster area, though, as many people have been saying. I find it difficult to see who would use it on a regular basis. The idea of buying a game that is never on your PC is, to me, initially anyway, kind of a freak-out moment. It's like, oh god, why am I paying for this game which I never install on my machine? But then you think, well, actually, I don't really own the games I play on Steam either. All I'm doing is downloading the client and having a license to it. Now, there are certain other problems. For instance, you can't mod any of these. Now, you did notice that in the marketplace there are add-ons available, stuff like DLC, and they may implement some popular mods. I have to wonder, actually, if we were to go to the marketplace and have a look at something like Fallout, are there any mods put into it at all? Does it make any of those available to you? Let's go to role-playing. I'm going to go with probably not, but I don't actually know at this point. Apparently, Alpha Protocol is a role-playing game. Oh, yeah. That's Alpha Protocol, not Alpha Prime. I forgot, they're both terrible games. Alright, if we were to go to, say... Let's have a look. Let's go Fallout. No. No add-ons available there, so none of like the high-resolution mods available. Original Deus Ex? Nope, nothing like that. So it's pretty much DLC. So modding is mostly out of the picture for you there, which is a problem. And that's an advantage of PC gaming that you will not get if you happen to use OnLive. Yes, Bastion is there. That's a good thing. There are even extras like interviews, as you can see here. It's a shame they didn't put my interview in there. That'll be nice. Maybe I should shout at them for that. There's also things like achievements and things like that made available, and trailers and all sorts of other stuff. Go to the arena. No one is currently playing this. You fail miserably OnLive customers. But that's an overview of what OnLive currently is, folks. Again, my conclusion is it's a nice system, and the tech is pretty good. Perhaps better than I would have expected. I'm having trouble seeing where it really fits in the market at this point. I think that if OnLive is going to be useful to you, you'll have realized by looking at this video. And the really cool thing is, if you think it might be useful to you, you can try it without having to pay up. So you can head over, you can try one of the games out. Does it run well? Is it for you? Is it something that you'd find useful? And then from there on in, you can actually dedicate to it. That's nice. They've made it as easy as possible to determine whether or not the service is for you, and I don't think they're really pretending that it's for everybody. It certainly is not. I don't really know where this is going to go in the future, but it's a fairly successful experiment in terms of its implementation, and I assume that in terms of latency and the artifacting problems, it's only going to get better as they improve the service. It's definitely worth having a look at if, once again, you are on a low-spec machine. Perhaps you use your netbook an awful lot, you want to try that. Maybe you're on a Mac. That's something to consider. You're on a Mac and you can't play a lot of these games. This might change that for you. Or whether you're really interested in playing on multiple devices like tablets and even a phone. And that is kind of crazy, isn't it? The way that we've seen the tech advance. The fact that you could play Arkham City on a phone. That's certainly something worth considering, isn't it? My name's been Totalbiscuit, and that has been a look at the current state of OnLive in the UK. I'll see you next time.